Okay, we got ourselves quite the interesting consultation today, ladies and gentlemen. To prove the point here, I'm going to stream this shirtless. I'm going to do a few push-ups beforehand just so it drills the point in visually. You'll understand when I start talking, okay? Shoulder's a bit sore. All right. Okay. Let's talk. Go ahead and write this down. There is a lot we need to get through with this particular consultation. Yeah, I thought so. All right. We've got... This is from someone who has sent in with the username of something I certainly cannot say on stream because it would get me probably banned, actually. Not even just demonetized, straight up banned. So from slur first name and slur second name. So before we go any further, there are decent odds this is a troll post and that I'm responding to a troll post. So if you are the one who sent this in as a troll, that's off to you. I'm taking the bait, and I'm going to take this seriously because maybe there's a chance this is legit. More to the point, maybe this is some advice that quite a few of you, especially in my community, could stand to fucking hear, okay? This is not going to be a very nice consultation. All right. Hey, bro, so I don't know how these things work. First time I'm writing into you. I can listen to your response. If you're planning on streaming, I can also watch your stream. First off, when you write to me, please use periods, okay? These are like 4 sentences combined into 1 sentence. So, while doing paperwork, someone asked me in a few videos ago, something about FinDom, and I'm not gonna talk too much more about that. If you don't know what it is, you can go look it up. I wonder if I could get one too, please. So, I didn't offer him one of these because, well, there's more to get into on this one because mostly for moral and ethical reasons. But I've been struggling with a personal issue related to your sexual proclivities, and you were hoping to gain some perspective from someone I admire, appreciate that, for their insights and straightforward approach to sensitive topics. All right. To be transparent, I found myself caught in a cycle of spending everything I earn to satisfy my sexual desires. I'm not going to specify the details. That would be a violation of privacy. This has led me to financial ruin. And while I have tried to quit multiple times, I can't seem to break the habit, and every relapse just seems to make it more intense for you. It's reached a point where I question if this proclivity is inherently bad or if it's simply a reflection of what fulfills you on a deeper level. Maybe this proclivity is giving you purpose and you should be grateful by basically ratcheting up the intensity even more. Now, saying maybe you weren't made to have what most people would consider a normal relationship, but instead satisfying your primal urges through this proclivity. And again, I have to be somewhat vague here, but bear with me. Says your content often helps viewers navigate complex problems. So what would this person do in my position? So this person has ended up draining 4-digit figures on this sexual proclivity in a handful of minutes. And it is to the point where this person has taken out a 5-digit amount of debt, has been has had this person's had his own, he has basically extinguished his own dreams of going to school for something good, actually a worthwhile degree in engineering, and taken consumer credit cards and an assortment of loans just to satisfy his urges. Okay. This person's and this person's asking me for help. This person's also asking me for me to satisfy his urges. I'm not gonna do the latter because, unlike maybe some other people, I maybe have some amount of ethics. I am, at the end of the day, we all have our price, but this seems like otherwise a relatively intelligent person that could use some help, and definitely could use a swift kick in the ass, and that's how I'm going to deliver help. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask, so I wanna ask a few other things. The first one being, when they discover, hang on, let me go pull that up, there we go. It was a long email chain getting to this point, that's why we're doing this on a Monday, by the way. So when did you discover this urge? And how far back does it go? It's been a while. This guy's in his 20s. So the good news is here, I'm gonna go ahead and start with some optimism. You're in your mid-20s, you can turn your life around, and you can actually live a fulfilling, productive life. Because right now, what you're discovering is that your sex drive, the way you've conditioned yourself, okay, effectively, you have given yourself operant training or operant conditioning. You have trained yourself to really be attracted to only one particular type of sexual interaction. By doing this, who knows how far back that goes? It sounds like it comes from real early, but I'm not a fucking shrink, and regardless, psychology is useless in terms of giving you practical advice. More to the point, the good news is because you're young enough to turn your shit around, we've got somewhere to work with. If you were 45 and you were doing this, I'd call you a lost cause. But I would say maybe there's some hope here. Assuming I can't help the consultee here, that's a sign from God that your sex kink is your entire life and it's your life's purpose. No. First off, if we're going to talk about religion and bring God into this, if anything, that would be Satan tempting you. If we're going to go by the Bible, lust is one of the 7 deadly sins, and it sounds to me like lust, the demon of lust, is controlling the fuck out of you. So if anything, it's a sign from Satan that you're easily controlled. But we'll put the religion aside for a moment. If I can enjoy this in moderation, that would be great. And the answer is, you sure as fuck can. You're just making excuses about it. So can't afford, like saying sometimes I can't even afford food because you would rather deny yourself basic necessities of living to fulfill your sexual desires. That is beyond fucked up. And we need to do a little bit of work here. The first thing is you're an addict, and you're an addict who's destroying his life and his future to feed your addiction. The way you talk sounds absolutely like someone who is on a hard drug. We're talking meth, we're talking cocaine, we're talking, God help you, heroin, and is leading down the path of self-destruction really quickly. You need to stop, okay? Just fucking completely stop. And let's go ahead and set aside for the moment what brings you the most pleasure, okay? Let's go ahead and set that aside and just say, when it comes to addiction, it really boils down to 2 basic concepts. The first is self-control, and the second is delayed gratification, okay? There's an old experiment that involves little kids. You either offer the child a free marshmallow, or if they wait 1 minute, you can offer them 2, right? Then you do the same thing for 2 minutes, for 5 minutes. You get the idea. And consistently, they track the results of these experiments, the kids who took the 1 marshmallow up front versus the ones who delayed and got 2. the kids who were able to delay their gratification consistently did better at almost every facet of life. It sounds to me as though you have lost the capability to be able to delay your own gratification to your own self-detriment. First off, let's go ahead and dive back into the sexual side of things now. So first off, and by the way, we're talking about lust, right? One of the great 7 heavenly virtues, if we're going to bring God into this, is self-control. Okay, it's one of the fruit of the Spirit. So, not again trying to get overly religious, but if you're going to call out, you think feeding your sexual desires, right? What is sex? Ultimately, sex is the desire to procreate. Based on how you're interacting with this desire, it has no procreative effect, which tells me that no, the Holy One up above did not put you on this planet to satisfy your own inherent carnal urges. If anything, that's the devil. If you really want to go religious with it, I think it's neither, personally. But if you really want to make the religious argument, no, you're being played by the devil, and quite badly. Okay, let's dive in a little bit to maximizing, and I'm giving you a little bit of philosophy here. The reason I'm giving you a little bit of philosophy is because that's going to help you attack this problem. Let's go ahead and just transition from delayed gratification to maximizing utility. Let's say, fuck all the moral arguments. All you want is to maximize your pleasure in life. And by doing that, it's going to maximize the amount of times you get to do this sexual proclivity. Well, you've racked up so much debt that it's not sustainable. The amount you're currently getting is going to lead you to, inevitably, the walls will close in. You will have to declare bankruptcy. Again, you're not even feeding yourself properly. You're already mooching off of your parents because it sounds like you're still living at home, which, good on them, but this is the perfect time for you to turn it the fuck around and get your own independence. Look, if you want to maximize all of the income that you earn that isn't necessary for self-supportation on your sexual desires and proclivities, that's one thing. We live in a free country. There's no reason you can't do that. But if you are potentially defrauding creditors, demolishing your own credit score, mooching off your loved ones, no, that's wrong, okay? That is ethically and morally wrong. And not to mention, it's going to fail at maximizing the amount of pleasure you're going to get from this activity, right? So let's talk a little bit more about that, right? Eventually, once you go bankrupt, you're not going to be able to continue tapping credit just to indulge yourself, which means you're going to have to cut way back or risk starvation. Well, and if you starve for long enough, you die, which means, well, if you're dead, it turns out you're not able to really enjoy that sexual habit anymore. Now, are you? Okay? So you have to find a way to control it. You can either control it, or it will control you and lead you to an early grave. This sounds a lot like someone who is addicted to a hard drug. It's in that sense, it's very similar. The good news is, because of that, we have some ways that you can cope. Yours is a psychological addiction. It is not a physiological addiction. That's a good thing, right? You're not going to get tremors, and you're not going to be vomiting, and you're not going to be in truly immense amount of pain the way someone withdrawing from a drug like heroin might be. But psychologically, this is going to be about the toughest thing you've ever done. I think you have the capability to do it. You seem to me as though you are capable of moderating. I would recommend I would cut it off cold turkey for a while. Get yourself a community of people that can help you. My community can help to an extent, but you need to learn self-control, okay? And you need to stop with this, maybe this is what I'm destined to do crap, okay? You are a human being. You need to take responsibility for your own life, and it sounds like you haven't done that. So I want you to go into the mirror at some point and say to yourself, I'm a human being. While I deserve to respect myself, nobody else will respect me if I don't respect myself first. I am capable of controlling myself. I am capable of doing great things if I set my mind to it. And I am responsible. I and I alone am responsible for the situation I have put myself in, okay? And I say this to people who are morbidly obese, all right? It's the same fucking problem. It's, again, I would call it more of a psychological addiction, but you're 400 pounds and you're shoving fucking Twinkies down your gullet. It's the same goddamn thing. The difference is that you're serving the demon of gluttony instead of the demon of lust. But the point remains the same. The only reason you get to that point is because you have surrendered self-control. You lack discipline. Insert South Park joke here, but it's true. True discipline really does come from within, right? Today, and I'll give you a great example, okay? Today, I fucked up, all right? I was offered these chocolate toffee covered macadamia nuts at work. They're really fucking good. They're locally made here in Hawaii, and I had a couple. I wasn't supposed to do that because I had a fucking modeling show in a handful of, actually like 5 days. Now my weight, I came home, weighed myself in, my weight was a little bit high. So now I'm gonna have to live with the consequences. I'm going to have to, first off, write down my weight before I forget what it was. There we go. I'm going to have to eat a lot less tonight. I'm just gonna have to learn to fucking deal with it, right? I'm going to have to probably go for a run or something to burn off some of the extra calories. I'll manage, but I'm taking responsibility. I don't blame my coworkers for bringing in tasty snacks. I don't blame Hawaii for having macadamia nuts here. I don't, no. It's my life. It's my responsibility, okay? It's your life. It's your responsibility, all right? Sam Yee, to catch you back up, this is someone who has greatly damaged their life to feed a sexual urge, all right? That's where we're at. Jay, good to see you. I've been around. I streamed yesterday and the day before, so that's, if you really want my stream schedule, you know, I do have it. It's on my Discord. Anyway, so where I'm going with this is, what else was I gonna say? Yeah, so what I'm not gonna do is kink shame you. Your kink is as valid as any other, but I will self-control shame you, because just because you have a kink doesn't absolve you of responsibility for controlling it, right? If you were addicted to just plain old vanilla sex, you just couldn't keep it in your pants, you know, you'd get really bad societal repercussions for that too. You'd be considered at best a creep and at worst a predator. So, right? Time zone difference, yeah, 6 hours is like that. Look, it's Hawaii, what do you want me to do? Like, there is no time zone I can stream at that is convenient for a reasonable chunk of my audience. The best I can do is what I'm currently doing. But for the love of God, stop outsourcing control and responsibility. I'm not gonna kink shame you, but I damn sure am going to self-control shame you. You have the ability to control yourself. You need to start doing it. All right, you got it? We good on that? Excellent. All right. And as for self-control, that could mean withdrawing from temptations. That's a pretty decent strategy, right? In the same vein as if you don't buy the box of donuts, you can't eat the box of donuts. The battle is won at the store. In the same way, maybe isolate yourself from the people who are willing to indulge you in your proclivity until you are ready to control it. Okay? All right. So what else we have here? Let me read the rest of the email, make sure I'm not missing any other information. See, it feels tomorrow. Here we go. Said, so someone told you only live once, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow for all you know, so you might as well spend your last day on earth for a future that may not even come. Jesus Christ, you have been given some terrible advice, okay? If that's the case, I want you to ask yourself, okay? Well, by that logic, why don't I go rob a bank today? And then blow all the money skydiving while, you know, shooting up the world's finest fentanyl into my arms, right? If you're going to take that line of thought, how far do you want to go on that line of thought, right? This YOLO, you only live once attitude is stupid. You're giving the shaft to your future self. You are worth more than that. Not to mention, you have no idea how good life can be until you start actually practicing these delayed gratification habits and they form good habits. It's the same fucking thing I say at the end of every one of my episodes. You make good decisions, they form good actions, they form good habits, they form good values from an ethos to get you through the rough waters of life. It makes you tougher, it makes you more interesting as a person, it makes you a better human being. We're not meant to sit here and pursue hedonism every day for the rest of our lives. And it won't make you happy. Again, over the long run, right? The statistical odds are that unless you deliberately destroy your own health, you're probably going to live to between 70 and 90 years old. You're 25 now, so you've got 45 years minimum to think about for the rest of your life. What the fuck is 35-year-old you going to say to 25-year-old you? Are you really so grim about your future that you don't think you're going to live into your 30s? Start considering that. Not to mention, right, you're at 25. Your levels of sexual desire are going to start to trickle away. That is biology. As a male, our sexual desires peak in the early 20s, and they don't go away, but they do start to taper off. I've noticed the difference between me now at 29 and me 5 years ago at 24, okay? Just because it feels amazing, no, I'm not saying you gotta sacrifice it, but at the same time, if you wanna maximize the enjoyment you had from this sexual proclivity, you need to start dosing it out in more reasonable and rational terms so that 20 years from now, you can still enjoy it, okay? Not to mention, okay, there is the incomparable joy of having worked for something, of having delayed for something. The journey is the destination, right? The first time I benched 315 pounds, it took me over 10 years in the gym to get to that point. And okay, fine, gym talk and fitness influencers and other peddlers of brain rot, you can go ahead and say, oh, why did it take you so long? Fuck off. That doesn't matter. The point is, because I worked so hard for it and because it took so long, was what made it so rewarding when I finally got there. And to go from the point of where you're currently at, to go from this whole back to the realm of financial responsibility, having a bright future ahead, which it sounds like you do, and making something of your life at the same time will make you more valuable in the eyes of the person you are having these sexual interactions with, right? Because ultimately, the concept behind this is you've got, trying to think of a way to say this diplomatically. You've got the rest of your fucking life to think about, man. You're not going to die in your 20s unless you choose to, and you shouldn't. That would be a shame. That would be an affront to God if you believe in God. I do, for what it's worth, but when you work for something, it intrinsically is more rewarding, right? I think, have you ever been hiking? You might want to go hiking at some point. If you go hiking, you'll find that at the first bit of it, it may seem like drudgery. It's just a walk. You know, it might be hot. You might have to deal with insects every now and again. You might start sweating, or it might be cold. You might have to deal with rain or snow. God knows what. But you get to the top and you see a view, and because it took effort to get to the top, to reach the summit and look out over the Lord's creation, that is what makes the hike special. That's what makes it enjoyable. It's the same thing, right? It wouldn't be as enjoyable to really hit a wave surfing perfectly, to use a more local example. Actually, hiking is a very local example, but if you didn't fuck up a little bit along the way, because then that means you knew you did it right. It's part of the human experience. failing and picking yourself up, and failing and picking yourself up, and failing but learning something and picking yourself up. And then a few more times down the road, you succeed at something and it feels good. That is core to the human experience. I think you're so caught up in instant gratification and hedonism that you don't understand that, or maybe you've forgotten it. It sounds to me like some of the people you've been interacting with have been borderline abusive in this regard. You should never ever take out debt to fulfill your sexual urges. Never. Because that is money you are taking away from someone who could otherwise be investing it in something better, right? What you are doing effectively is defrauding people of their hard-earned cash, right? That money that you took out to fund this, it didn't just come from magic, right? That is, those are people, right, who lent you their money because they thought you were going to do something relatively productive with it, or at least pay them back plus interest, and you have no intention of doing that, right? What that's called, in effect, is fraud, which you can go to jail for. You make enough money per week, and because you live at home, you could, if you applied discipline, you could get out of this hole probably within a year or two. And then within 10 years, you could probably get to the point where not only are you living on your own, but you are saving quite a good chunk of money. You're probably starting to invest in the stock market, and then that money is making money for you. Once that money starts making money for you, that's your fun money. That's the money that you then use for your own desires and your fun things, right? I have out in my van, I don't have it with me in here, a boogie board, right? Did I buy that as the first thing I bought when I moved here to Hawaii? Of course not, because I had more important shit to worry about. I bought that out of my excess funds. What it sounds like, right, it's like you're going out and you're buying dessert when you haven't even bought potatoes yet, or you haven't even bought rice yet. You're doing an immense amount of harm to your future self, and you gotta stop, my man. It's kind of pathetic. Like, it's just fucking sad. It's a waste of talent, and the waste of talent is really, really disgusting. Anyway, the sexual desire in minor might not trickle away, but the ability to act on that desire will absolutely. So, right. Just because, who should I use in Mario Kart? Lab Boys, you were always a Funky Kong main. Go with Funky Kong and prosper. I love when you get bossy, sir. Oh, I appreciate that. Look, okay, I do it out of a place of love in a sense, because, look, there just aren't that many other people who have been as successful as I have been at as young an age, okay? That's not to say I'm perfect, because I certainly fucking am not. I gave an example of the way I fucked up just today. But you're dramatically giving the shaft to your future self here. My recommendation, here's what I suggest you do. Practical things you ought to do, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and get out the whiteboard for this. Go to the mirror and take back control, okay? That's the first thing. I talked about it earlier, okay? Tyson Smith, I'm gonna address. All right, chat's actually getting busy enough to where I'm gonna need a few minutes to process all of these. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose my train of thought. So go to the mirror and take control, like I was saying earlier, okay? You are responsible for the situation you found yourself in. You are responsible for getting yourself out of it. But you need to convince yourself that you can. I know you can. You know you can. Deep down, you know you fucking can. Is it going to be hard? Yes. You've made it hard on yourself. But that's your responsibility, and you need to take that responsibility. That's what part of being a human being is all about. Now, number 2, okay? Number 2, find a community that supports you. All right. So for you, you could try my Discord channel. I'd recommend it. Are we going to be perfect in terms of helping you out of every situation you got? No, but on the same token, we're better than your current situation, because the advice you've been getting from the people you've been interacting with, it's a bit like taking what you've been doing effectively is taking your financial advice from your meth dealer in effect. The way you are handling your current sexual desire is similar to the way a hard drug addict uses hard drugs. You need to separate yourself from the people who have helped you go into this hole, right? Now, you may say, oh, that's part of the charm, is going into that hole for your particular sexual proclivity. Doesn't matter, man. Even if you want to maximize, in the long run, you want to maximize how much joy you get out of that sexual activity, you need to moderate. And to moderate requires, at least right now, getting out of the hole you're in, which means you need to get the fuck away from those people. All right? No, it's not going to be easy. I think you can do it. Okay, that's basically all I've got. Let me catch up on chat. But dude, and if none of those 3 things work, I wouldn't even say get psychiatric help. I would say talk to your parents about it. Fucking go man up. Tell them this is the problem you're currently dealing with, and see what happens. Because it turns out, when faced with the true, right, what effectively your parents might unconsciously be doing right now is subsidizing this self-destructive lifestyle for you. You've got to fucking stop, man. You've got to learn to moderate. You've got to learn to have self-control. It's a basic life skill. You should have learned this when you were fucking 5. The fact that you're 25 and you still don't know it, it's a damning failure on your development as a human being. That's okay. We're humans. We're gonna fail. But here you go. This is your chance to show the world, you're worth something. I think you are. I wouldn't have bothered to make this fucking video if I didn't. Okay? So hopefully that helps. You're 1, 2, 3. One more time. Go to the mirror. Admit responsibility. Take back control. Find a community that supports you, and then separate from the people who have helped put you in this hole. All right. Let's talk to chat. All righty. Let's see here. Sam Yee says, that's the darkest version of live your life like it's the last day on this earth. I'm a huge fan of Carpe Diem and seize the day, but not to the expense of your future self. If you don't learn to delay gratification, you're going to end up at age 60 a very unhappy or probably dead person. Okay? Lab Boys Who Should Use a Mario Kart, Funky Kong. Jay, I've found that I like being a little bit bossy because, again, look, if you mimic what I do, it's not going to lead you to complete and perfect success. I'm not the second coming of Christ. But I am fairly successful, and a good way to become successful is to model yourself and surround yourself with successful people. That's very common knowledge. All right? Sexual desire may or may not trick away. Yes. Again, as you get older, you're going to start regretting more and more the foolishness with which you have currently wasted your early 20s. And as for low testosterone, no, it's just your testosterone naturally peaks in your early 20s, and after age 25, it starts to slowly decline. It can decline faster in some men than others. Tyson Smith, what do you think of semen retention? Boy, that's a question. I think I know who you are, but welcome. Good to see you. I don't think I've seen you in here, so if you haven't hit that subscribe button, I think it kind of gets overdone. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, we've already gone well past the point of this being an 18 plus video. Back in high school, actually, I'd do that till right before a football game. Maybe it's the placebo effect, but it did definitely make me feel a little bit more aggro. So then looking back on it, I've tried, like, if I know I'm going to try and hit a max in the gym, I'll usually hold off on handling my business down there for a day or two, and it does seem to give me a little advantage. That's completely anecdotal, and it could be the placebo effect. So in all honesty, I don't know. Lab Boys TV, a true discipline. It comes from within. I'm just saying, the Karate Master in South Park, that whole episode is one of South Park's best, because the last monologue where Stan is talking to Randy, and Randy's like, no, you don't need to completely give up alcohol cold turkey. It works better for me because for modeling and for staying lean reasons. More than anything else. Like I quit alcohol not because I had a problem, but more because I wanted better gains in the gym. Realistic. That was the biggest reason I quit. Is it wrong to goon it's wrong? Is it wrong to goon to this? No. Is it wrong to tell me you're gooning to this? A little. That's a little weird, but I think you're trolling on that one. Again, this whole post, by the way, this whole email could have been a troll post. If you write me at askbullmuscle@gmail.com, I will take you seriously, provided you pay for a consultation or you plug my stream. That's really how these work, right? So you write in an email, I'll usually ask follow-up questions, you respond, I'll tell you, hey, you can either pay me a small fee or, and this is really what I prefer, just plug my YouTube channel, right? I don't run ads on this deliberately because I want this to come from the heart. I want this to be a place where the one place on YouTube where you don't have to deal with constant ads. So anyway, that's really how this works. And then I make the video and that's that. I do offer private coaching, like one-on-one for these kinds of things, but my time is valuable, especially now that I'm going into the modeling world. So be prepared to pay a lot more for that, or be prepared to do a lot more work for that. Again, I like to give people options. So you can either pay me a small fee or you can help promote my channel. I'd like to think the quality of the videos and the quality of the advice should be enough to promote the channel, but word of mouth don't work as well as it used to. This ain't 2014. Anywho, Wasted Talent, cue Robert De Niro from A Bronx Tale. Haven't watched that movie. Should. Robert De Niro is a good actor. What size is this whiteboard? It is... They have measuring tape right here. In freedom units, it is, come on, roughly, it's twisted, it's all kinked up. Hang on. In freedom units, this whiteboard is roughly 14 inches wide and roughly 11 inches tall. Subtract about an inch from both sides to cover the silver rim. It's nice, it gets the job done. It allows me to express certain concepts visually instead of just audially, because some people are visual learners. I know I am one of them. I don't know how to express this via body motion, or at least in a way that would not get me kicked off of the platform. Plox Discord, okay, Plox, let's see. My buddy Chad can't bench 225. I've heard about this guy, Chad. And by the way, rule on my channel, you don't need to know who Chad is, okay? Who Chad is entirely irrelevant. All that matters is that he cannot bench 225. And that he was making good progress at one point, he stopped going to the gym. So what steroids should he try? None, because he doesn't go to the gym now. And if he doesn't go to the gym, steroids ain't gonna do shit, right? The only thing steroids really allow you to do, most steroids, I'm natty, just letting you know. But the way most steroids actually work is they allow your muscles to repair themselves and recover faster, which means you can train them more and train them harder, right? This is why, right, when Arnold was taking steroids back in the 70s and the 80s, he was putting in insane workouts. We're talking 2 to 3 hour workouts each day. So that's 4 to 6 hours in the gym. Because he was juicing, he was able to recover from that kind of intensity and that kind of strain a lot quicker, which allowed him to put on more muscle. You, me, and other natural people, we're not capable of that. Hell, today was supposed to be a rest day for me, but because I'm going up to Tacoma on Thursday, I decided not to take one, and I am dragging ass today. Between that, I had to get up at 4:30 in the morning to hit that workout, only hit 6 hours of sleep. By the way, one other thing about fighting urges and addictions, I notice the nights I get less sleep are almost always the nights I fuck up on my diet, or they're almost always the nights I don't do well in the gym. Healthy sleep is a huge, huge part of mental health, probably a bigger part than 21st century science can explain. Getting 8 hours of sleep a night is excellent. Bare minimum, you need to be getting 6. I'm trying to work on getting to 7.5, and I'm struggling, okay? This is one where I need to do better on. So go ahead and go from there on that one. But no, Chad cannot in fact bench 225, and it's very sad. He needs to hit the gym. You know what? Yeah, it's not a steroid, but Chad needs to try a discipline. Chad rack a discipline. At least he's very skinny. He's not fat. That's important. So Chad is so skinny he's almost two-dimensional. Bro is legit, might actually be underweight per BMI. Follow-up question. Real talk, you're asking, you really want that as an honest question. Normally I'd say save that for my Discord, but we've already broken a lot of explicit content rules for this. Not rules, sorry, but guidelines. So this is already never going to get monetized. Extremely infrequently, the fact that I'm having to think about it, like I'm trying to think of like the last time. Typically it's right. I think my urge is like my desires on that front are fairly average. I don't really know what the average is, and I'm not that curious to find out. Sam Yee retracted his messages, so I don't know what he said. Have you tried red light therapy for better sleep? It's not getting to sleep that's a problem for me. Big Red, go to incognito mode or use DuckDuckGo and then search Goon. It used to be something called a Goon bag. It's still a thing in Australia, which is like a bag of super shitty cheap wine. Goon has since taken a very different meaning. Again, I'm not going to tell you what it is. Y'all go look that up on your own. You have been warned. It is explicit. But red light therapy for better sleep, that's not a bad option. I haven't done it. My problem is self-control. It's a discipline problem. All too often, I will be... Right, a big part of it is because I work 6:30 to 3 are my normal work hours. That's kind of with my job, we have to interface with people on the mainland. We're 3 hours behind West Coast time and 6 hours behind East Coast time. As a result, we have to get up and start work early. It's just kind of reality here. So because of that, I'll try and get my workout in beforehand, because going to the gym at 4 or 5 in the afternoon fucking sucks. You know that, I know that. As a result, that means I need to be getting to bed and being asleep before 9. That's hard, and I'm struggling with it. Typically, I'm pretty good about being in bed, asleep at or around 10. It's not good enough. I need to do better at it, but it's a self-control issue. Red light therapy wouldn't solve that problem. It's spending too much time on, historically, video games, YouTube, and now recently, because of all this modeling stuff I have to do, Instagram. I fucking hate Instagram. I use it because I need to, but I fucking hate it. It came specifically from somewhere. Let's see. Lab Boys. Okay, Lab Boys be trolling, but that's hilarious. I shorted on a date the other day. Blamed her for the smell. Does that mean I'm Sigma male? It might mean you're Sigma male. I don't fucking know, bro. God, when was the last time I was on a date? It was a long time ago at this point. I guess I had one recently, if you want to count that. I don't know. wasn't even really that. We watched a movie. That was it. I guess, if you want to call it a date, but Sam, I don't know where the new term for gooning came from. It could very well. I have no idea from that. Wish I was trolling. Oh, bro. Bro. See. Did you go and get a little bit too good Indian food? What happened here? Did you shart after eating too much dal and then start playing start singing Mundian Debake? Like what's going on? Or was it what kind of food caused it? Was it Mexican? I'm betting it's either Mexican or Indian food. I love both of them, but they both can cause violent gastrointestinal effects. Speaking of, I made myself a big pot of beans and rice last night, and that's what happened. Which is part of why I think my weight went up, because fiber go burr. It takes a while to get through your system. Lab's weird, but I fucking love him. It's nice having him on. All right, I think that's it for the chat. These are the consequences of, oh God, tilapia maxing. Bro, I forgot you were doing that. Oh my God. Actually, boy was Krillapia maxing. If I know him, if I know you, Lab, you were finding some way to mix creatine into this. I don't know how, but you would have found a way. I don't know, you would have made like a creatine reduction sauce for your tilapia. That's racist. I'm a Mexican Indian American. All right, if that's the case, invite me to your parents' house for cooking. Whoever's doing the cooking, it's gonna be good then. Low key, Mexican food might be the best cuisine in the whole world, and Indian's gotta be top 10. Like Indian food is the rare cuisine where legit I could be like, yeah, you know what? I don't miss meat. It's nice. Like a tandoori chicken's fucking amazing. There's so many good meatless Indian dishes. Even if it's just like paneer or like egg biryani. Bro, I will happily house a fucking egg biryani much in the same way that I eat a chicken biryani and I'd be happy either way. They both taste great. Lab Boys is a special. Big Red, I think I can explain that one. Lab Boys got hit in the head a lot by his older brother when he was a kid, and his older brother sometimes feels bad about it. But Lab Boys also has one hell of a chin, and his older brother likes to take credit in a little way for that as well. So, no, bro has a chin though. By the way, if y'all don't know, go check out Lab Boys' channel. He's kind of on a content creation hiatus because he's decided to tilapia max, move max, grad school max, work max, because when Lab Boys goes on a vacation, it's PTO maxing. Bro goes for like fucking 8 weeks, just demolishes his PTO, and then has none of it to use for anything else he wants. And recently, I believe you've been snowboard maxing. Is that right? Anyway, friggin' love Lab, but like this is his sense of humor. I love it. He's just always makes me happy when your dumbass shows up in chat, bro. Also, Tyson, I'm assuming Lab, it was Lab's idea to have you pop on, and I'm quite enjoying that as well. I like it when we get this kind of audience mixing with my more conventional crowd. And on a video, no less, about fucking someone demolishing their own financial lives because of a kink. By the way, to the consultee, we're just goofing off at this point. You don't need to continue watching this unless you want to. Yes, you have been rodent infestation maxing. You've not been protein bar maxing. It's a fucking dude. This rat. Oh my God, this story. Lab was telling me about this. I'm gonna have to tell him about the rat now because this is goddamn hilarious. Fucking there's a rat inside of the house that Lab Boys just moved into, and this rat has been demolishing all this shit in my bro's pantry, but specifically all the high protein shit. Clobbered all of his like fucking Bear Bells protein bars, the Chinese sausages, which I have some. I need to make those. It sounds so fucking good. I don't have the calorie budget for it tonight, but hey, you know what? You know what, fucker? You know what, fucker? Yeah. Look at me with my rat-free apartment. Look at me with my rat-free roach infested apartment. Fuck. Okay, I played myself on that one. False. I've been correct. Oh god. I won with Funky Kong. Very nice. But shrug maxing, bro. You do. We were talking about the variations like incline shrugs the other day. That shit was good. Mushroom Gorge. Pouring one out right now. Actually, Mushroom Gorge. If you know, you know. That reference is literally for just me and Lab. Nobody else needs to understand that. Shama. Anyway, I think that's all I got for you, crazy bastards. I know it's getting late, especially on the East Coast. Am I Nix maxing? What's Nix? I feel like I'm walking into a really stupid joke here. Is Lab Boys doing any minimizing right now to go along with all this maxing? It's a good question. Speaking of minimizing, I need to sell this desk, a few other items, because a little life update, actually. Housing, this is important. I'll talk about this. Housing, it's looking like I'm going to move out of here at the end of June. I have a couple of good spots I'm looking at right now. One's in Salt Lakes. One's all the way out in Makakilo, which I'm kind of stoked on because Kapolei is nice. If you don't have to work in the town, living west side of Oahu kicks ass. It's sunnier. You get nice breezes at night, especially if you're a little bit higher up, like Makakilo is. It's not on the Waianae side because I'm too haole to live over there. They would not like it, bro. It's wild. If you're haole like I am and you go through Waianae, you're gonna get some stink eyes. This is pretty funny. Trying to clone me. Trying to chlamydia mill. Bro, straight up. Oh my god, there's so many things I want to say right now, but nobody else is going to understand them. Oh my god. Oh, that's funny. It reminds me of a... Bro. Username is saw back in Mario Kart. Bro, that reminds me. So we had a Wii back in the day, and we had Call of Duty Black Ops 1 on the Wii. That was the most broken game, but there were some really funny usernames on there. Lab, to his credit, ran with the name Explosive Diarrhea. So if you got killed by him, it would say, you have been killed by Explosive Diarrhea. Very, very good. Yeah, Big Red, this is what happens. This is what happens to the bro. It's because of Mario Kart Wii that I learned what HIV is. Jesus, that is a statement. Oh man, bro. Low key, I might argue the Wii is the in terms of how much enjoyment I have gotten out of a video game console. The Wii is like head and shoulders above every other console ever made ever. With the Game Boy as number 2 for early childhood reasons. But fuck, man. God, the Wii. Even if you want to argue as greatest consoles of all time, was it good for FPS games? Fuck no, it was not. But, right, if you guys remember, some of y'all are too young. E and B, you're probably too young for this, but like, for those of you who are over about the age of 25, do y'all remember how big a deal the Wii was in like 2007, 2008? Like the idea that the controller itself acted like you could physically move the controller to control something on the screen, like you were playing tennis with your friends. Of course, everybody figured out eventually you just flick your wrist the right way to minimize movement. But like at the beginning, it was like you were actually playing tennis. You're like, holy shit, this is the future. Because compared to the GameCube, I mean, that was a revolution. Speaking of South Park episodes, another great one where Cartman freezes himself to buy a Nintendo Wii because he can't wait any longer. Starting to go off the rails a bit. Bro, we've been off the rails. That's why I said to the original console to you, you don't need to continue watching this. This is just me dicking around with my friends. This is the other nice thing. I already gave the good advice. We can kind of do this. Oh, God. Wii Sports is so fun. Wii Sports, if you play Wii Sports in 2025, that is still a banger of a game. Go play Wii Sports Golf or Wii Sports Tennis and tell me that shit still isn't fun. Like, and with friends, too. Like, I will happily go play Wii Sports with any of my friends. Anyway, before I forget, life updates. So, this will probably be the last stream, unless I get another urgent consultation request like this one. AskBillMuscle@gmail.com if you want that. This will probably be the last life video, or the last YouTube video I make until... So I go out, I fly out to Tacoma. If you're in the Seattle-Tacoma metro area and you want to hang out, might be a little tight, but I might be able to fit you in. I will be out in Washington State, April 17th through 24th. I fly back on the 24th, I believe. 25th, I probably need to work just because I'll have been away from the office, and there's some shit related to the DRP buyouts I need to get information on, and the 25th is when it's supposed to happen, so there we go. 26th, I have a casting call I need to get to, which is rather inconveniently at 10 in the morning. So I'll lift. I think the 26th will be our first day. It'll be my first day back. What I will either do is, if we've got a consultation, I might do it Friday night on the 25th after work. See. If not, I may bump it back to something like 8 a.m. and just get up early and lift early on Saturday. I don't love doing, but that's how the cookie crumbles. That's gonna be everything for April. For May, second half of May is gonna be crazy busy. Gonna be in Miami, 15th through the 21st, 14th through the 21st, excuse me. Gonna be back here in Honolulu for a few days because International Fashion Week is on the 23rd. You can check out my Instagram if you want more information about that. If you live in Oahu and you want to come try modeling with me, check out my Instagram page. I got more for you there. Then final week of May, probably Manila. So if you're in the Philippines, you might have a chance to hang out with me there. One other interesting thing. Also got another show. This happened over the weekend. Actually happened on Sunday after last stream. August 3rd, I'm going to have a modeling show here in Honolulu as well. And then I believe New York Fashion Week is September 11th through 14th, which I don't know exactly how New York is on 9/11, but I think it would be very interesting to be there. I think depending on how the schedule works out, I'm thrilled to be there. There's two things I really want to do. I've already been to the 9/11 memorial once, but to be there on September 11th, I think would be just a very touching thing. And then the Coney Island Cyclone, I believe, is turning 100 this year, so I want to ride that. Who the fuck wouldn't want to ride a 100-year-old wooden roller coaster? Speaking of other video games I need to start streaming again, Roller Coaster Tycoon. Such a banger of a game. Neem says, you made an Instagram? Yeah, I fucking hate it. I dislike using Instagram, but it is the platform du jour for any modeling, so it's a necessary evil. Yeah. I like how Lab even helps out, and sometimes even just ghost posts for me, because he's better at Instagram than I am, and I really just don't like using it. I'm using the stories more now because for the Mr. Supranational competition, I basically am required to. I really don't like it. I'm hoping Honestly, I've been thinking about returning to a dumb phone. Needing to use Instagram is one of the biggest reasons. And like a lot of the time, like I will get things I need to respond to rapidly while I'm on the move from Instagram, and just having it on my desktop might be a trouble point. Although maybe I could use DuckDuckGo if I really had to do that. It'd be a decent way to minimize my usage, because using the desktop app, yeah, but then I wouldn't be able to do stories. I gotta think about that one. You made an Instagram. So yeah, I do hate socials. Again, if I get to the point where, see, the thing is, modeling is still fun for me. The fun of modeling outweighs the annoying pain in the ass that is Instagram and other social media. It's the same thing with YouTube. The fun of making these videos outweighs the pain in the ass of managing a YouTube channel. Like, if I got big enough, I would probably just have a social media team, have someone to manage all my YouTube shit, have someone to manage my Instagram shit. Like, I would gladly do that. I would gladly outsource it. I hate spending time on my phone. And then just have a dumb phone and just like, yo, for all modeling inquiries, talk to my team. My team will text message me if it's serious and they need an instant response. Sammy is correct. It is a necessary evil. Neem, Hawaii does have a small but burgeoning modeling scene. International Fashion Week is typically relegated to the tier 1 cities of modeling, which, as you said, Milan, New York City, Paris, not so much Toronto, but Los Angeles. That one, LA kind of goes without saying. Miami's another big one for the more Latin America type events. London, there's the one more. London, and then Tokyo, I believe. So those are kind of the biggest of the big cities for modeling. But Honolulu is trying to break into that next echelon. I think it's a great idea because you're about equidistant from Asia as you are from most of the United States. The West Coast is closer, but like East Coast, like New York City to Honolulu is about equivalent to like Beijing to Honolulu, for instance. So yeah, I've been nominated as Mr. Supranational Hawaii. I'm going to try and build the modeling scene here, because if I can help do that, that helps a ton of other models, and there's a lot of talent out here. There are men and women, a lot of really gorgeous people out here. Because Hawaii is so diverse, you get a lot of mixed race people. And mixed race people, what's nice is it gives you a lot of different, there's a near infinite number of combinations of traits from different ethnicities that you can blend together. And Hawaii, because of its, especially Oahu, but Hawaii in general, is really, really a great experiment pot for that, melting pot in effect. Obviously you've got the Pacific Islander gene, you've got the Haole gene, you've got Asian gene, you've got lots and lots of others. You've got Native Hawaiian, of course, but it's very good for that. There's actually a really good song, speaking of race and Hawaii. There's a song called Mr. Sun Cho Lee. It's funny as hell. I recommend it. It's a little funny little Hawaiian song. But am I on other dating apps besides Instagram? I don't consider Instagram a dating app. Instagram is largely something I do for modeling reasons only. I really, and it's owned by fucking Zuckerberg. It's owned by Meta. I hate Meta to begin with, like as a company. Just in general, Facebook was a terrible invention. Twitter was an even worse one. But I really dislike Instagram. So I try not to do too much. Like I really try not to answer too many DMs. I try to keep the number of people I follow down because it's a time suck. It's like Facebook. I don't want to spend extra time on it. Lab Boy's taking the piss once again. I'm married to the game. Actually, well, I mean, realistic in a sense, you're somewhat right. I've put career prospects, getting my financial independence, and now modeling over the dating scene. But there are a couple prospects when it comes to dating that I'm looking at right now that I've met mostly through modeling. Right, because most models tend to be in shape, And because they tend to be in shape, they tend to have similar physical or outdoor interests. You know, so there's some of that going on. I'm going to make you a Twitter and Instagram page and manage it for you a long time ago on Twitch. Never got back to you. I think you told me to email. Yeah, because bro, you're not regular enough, right? We don't have a rapport, a long enough rapport built yet to where I could realistically trust you to do that, right? It takes some trust. As for Instagram, I feel like I'm managing it pretty well as it stands. But if you stick around, we get to know each other. I'd want to meet you in person before I'd let you do something like that. But yeah, we talk about it. There is someone who helps me on my YouTube channels. His name is Severus. You'll see him sometimes in here. He's a little bit less frequent poster now than he used to be, but he helps me a lot with YouTube content creation, occasionally making YouTube shorts, stuff like that. So anyway, I believe that's going to be it for today. I overate at work. I had those delicious Melee Macs. Worth it. You know what else is tempting as fuck is not opening the bags of ahi tuna jerky I have over there. But I bought those as gifts for everybody on the mainland, so it's not too bad. That's going to be it for me for today. That's going to be it for me for this week. Only really social media platform I don't mind using a lot is Discord, just because it's super chill, I feel like. Plus, because you have to react to the rules, it's a good filter for people who just want to come and blow up my DMs demanding OnlyFans and other bullshit like that. Yeah, they were chocolate and toffee covered macadamia nuts. They're called Melee Macs. They're really good. They're terrible for you. Are you coming to the mainland soon? Go back and watch the video, bro. I'm coming to Tacoma on Thursday. More details on that on my Discord. So that's gonna go ahead and be it for me today, y'all. I'm gonna probably go hike up to the top of the crater and just kind of enjoy the sunset, because I'm not gonna have that many more times to get to do that between being in Tacoma, all the shit I have to do in the end of May, and then end of June, I'm moving out of this apartment, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that's going to be about it, as always, y'all. And if you, the consultee, made it through all the screwing around with other people in chat, good on you. Take self-control, right? Every time I end my streams with this, I really do mean it. Make good decisions, okay? Those in-the-moment decisions. Those good decisions, they form your actions. You decide to do something, you mentally commit to do something. I'm mentally going to commit to go and walk outside right now and eat a smaller dinner because I overate earlier today. That's the decision I'm making now. It is going to be followed up with my actions, where I actually go and walk and then eat a relatively small dinner, okay? Those actions over a long enough timeline. So decision, action, decision, action, decision, action, 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 habit. Becomes a habit. Then your subconscious does it for you. Once your subconscious does it for you, things like tracking calories, tracking what you eat, very, very easy to keep it going. Unfortunately, bad habits can also be formed, as we've discussed earlier in this video. Habits form your values. Over a long enough time frame, a habit of something like going to the gym becomes a value. I value physical fitness. I value having muscle. I value having a six-pack. So, right, that value drives my habits, and it works back down as well. And the overlying values become an ethos to be the guide start through the rough waters of life. What does that mean? What it means is, right, it all blends together. It all blends together. All the values, right? Physical fitness, lowering my consumption, achieving financial independence, riding a bike, all of these things, they come together to perform the ethos. The ethos, for me, is the pursuit of excellence. So, okay, I want you to pursue excellence today. And that starts by making a good decision. So that's going to be it for me today, y'all. Come in for the hug. Shoots. Take care.